Imagine this. You're in what feels like a perfect relationship. Everything flows naturally, effortlessly. Then, without warning, it happens. Messages that used to light up your phone within minutes now take hours, days. Those spontaneous, just thinking of you calls, they vanish. Suddenly silence crashes over you like a wave, leaving a paralyzing knot in your stomach. Your mind races. Did I do something wrong? Has he lost interest? Is there someone else? Why is he pulling away? That soul-deep ache, that fear of abandonment, it's spiritual pain. Most women instantly assume he's losing interest. But my friend, what if I told you the truth is far more shocking? What if the very strength of his emotional bond is what's forcing him to retreat? Carl Jung himself uncovered this explosive paradox. The deeper a man's connection to you, the more intensely he may need to distance himself. This isn't rejection. It's a hidden psychological survival mechanism few understand. Today, I'll reveal exactly why this happens, decode the unconscious battle raging inside him using Jung's revolutionary principles, and hand you the powerful, immediate solution to not only stop his withdrawal, but pull him back closer than ever. This transformation starts now. Before we dive deeper, if you're finding this insight valuable, do this one thing. Tap subscribe. Thousands watch these videos but miss the life-changing shifts because they aren't subscribed. Don't risk losing access to the next breakthrough that could heal your relationships forever. Hit that button and join us. Your journey back to connection starts here. Carl Jung, the renowned Swiss psychiatrist, stated that what bothers us in others may be a reflection of something we need to understand about ourselves. This fits perfectly in this situation. When a man pulls away, it's not always because he's no longer interested in you, but because he's dealing with an internal conflict. He's not running from you. He's running from emotions he hasn't yet learned to manage. Today we'll delve into this phenomenon, and I'll explain why, even when a man feels a deep connection, he might need space. We'll explore the real reasons behind this behavior, and most importantly, I'll teach you how to react strategically to prevent him from pulling away further. Instead, you'll make him return with renewed interest. But before we dive in, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. You'll not only be supporting this content, but helping more women access valuable insights about relationships and male psychology. Now get ready, because what you'll discover today will forever change how you understand male behavior in a relationship. It all starts with a small change. Perhaps it was that message that took longer to arrive, or that nighttime call that suddenly disappeared from your routine. It's not an abrupt break, but a gradual distancing, almost imperceptible at first, but undeniable later. Why? Because women always notice it. At this point, your mind goes on high alert. It's as if an internal radar activates, desperately searching for answers. You try to analyze every conversation, every gesture. Did I say something inappropriate? Was I too intense or too indifferent? Your instinct screams that something changed, and you need to discover what it was. And here's where many women make the biggest mistake, the most common mistake. When a man starts distancing himself, the natural reaction is to panic. His withdrawal feels like rejection. For the female mind, rejection hurts more than anything. It's a direct blow to self-esteem. But here's the truth almost no one tells you. A man doesn't pull away because he's lost interest, but because he needs to process what he's feeling. Carl Jung spoke of the anima and animus archetypes, the feminine and masculine aspects present in every individual. One of the biggest challenges in a relationship arises because men and women process emotions in completely different ways. While a woman needs to talk, analyze, and share, a man requires isolation to find clarity. Paradoxically, the more intense his feelings, the greater his need for space. Think about this for a moment. If a man truly felt nothing for you, he wouldn't need to distance himself. He'd simply walk away. But when the emotional bond is strong, his mind enters a whirlwind of doubts. It's intense, deep, real, and that scares him. This is where many men start questioning things they never say out loud. Am I really ready for this? Am I good enough for her? Can I handle this emotional intensity without losing myself? Instead of seeking answers externally, they search within themselves. But here's the problem. They do it silently. For a woman, this retreat feels like abandonment. But for a man, it's an emotional survival strategy, like an overloaded electrical system needing to shut down temporarily to avoid a meltdown. It's not personal, nor a sign of disinterest, but a necessary pause to reorganize his emotions. And here comes the most important part. How you react to his distance determines everything. Your reaction will determine whether he returns with greater intensity or drifts away completely. Many women fall into the trap of trying to win him back at all costs. They text more, insist on knowing what's wrong, try to force a conversation. But what they don't realize is this. When a man is already navigating internal chaos, any additional pressure only increases his desire to escape. This is where you must do the exact opposite of what your instinct tells you. Stop trying to hold on to him. I know this seems complicated. I know every fiber of your being urges you to do something. But here's the game-changing secret. When you stop chasing him, he feels free to return on his own. There's a psychological explanation. Men, by nature, value what they perceive they could lose. It's an essential principle of attraction. If he notices you're living your life, not panicking, maintaining your essence, that absence starts working in your favor. To understand it better, imagine holding sand in your palm. If you squeeze too tightly, it slips through your fingers. But if you simply hold it gently, it stays. That's how the male mind works when it needs space. If you try to cling tightly, you push him further away. If you give him freedom, he'll come back on his own. But there's something even more important. Not all men who distance themselves do it for the same reason. Some are genuinely wrestling with their emotions, but others are simply losing interest. Here's where you need to learn to differentiate between a man who just needs time and one who's actually signaling a final goodbye. There are clear signs that can indicate whether, even at a distance, he's still present in the relationship, or whether his absence reflects fading interest. There are also clear signs telling you when it's time to let go and move on. I'll explain exactly how to recognize them. But first, if this resonates with you, if you've ever been in a similar situation and now understand things from a new perspective, leave a comment with the word clarity. I'd love to know how many women are discovering today what they'd never been told before. Now pay close attention, because what I'll share next will give you a new lens to see what's truly happening in his mind. How to tell if his distance is temporary or permanent. If you've made it this far, it's because deep down you know there's more behind his silence than he lost interest, or he doesn't care anymore. And you're right. However, this leads us to a critical question. How do you tell if his distancing is temporary, or if he's truly disappearing from your life? Because not all men who pull away come back, and more importantly, not all who return do so for the right reasons. There are subtle signs, small clues, that reveal what's truly going through his mind. The problem? Many women miss them or misinterpret them. That's why I want you to pay close attention. I'll share with you 3 signs that indicate he still has feelings for you, even while distancing himself. 3 signs that warn you it's time to let him go. If a man is still interested in you, even distant, he'll unconsciously show certain attitudes. 1. He finds subtle ways to stay present. He might not text as often, but he leaves traces. An unexpected message, a like on your social media, a comment on your story. These are invisible threads keeping him connected to you, even from afar. Why? Because his mind is still caught in the connection. He doesn't want to lose you, but doesn't know how to handle what he feels. So even if he's not ready for constant interaction, he makes sure you don't forget him. 2. His interest is genuine when he does talk to you. It's not cold or automated messages, nor a simple hi without emotion. When he reaches out, he does it with intention. He asks how you are, what you've been doing, how you feel. Despite less frequent communication, his energy still conveys closeness. 3. His attitude remains warm when you meet again. He doesn't act emotionally distant. His body language, his gaze, his tone of voice, all indicate the bond is still there. Here's the key. A man who just needs space never disappears completely. He doesn't cut all ties. He doesn't act completely indifferent. He always leaves a door open. But what if his withdrawal isn't temporary? How do you know if he's really losing interest? This is where many women deceive themselves. The heart clings to hope, but the truth is in the details. Signs. He's genuinely losing interest. 1. His responses become colder and more distant. He not only replies less often, his tone changes. Where he once showed genuine interest, his replies are now short, empty, as if he's just fulfilling a formality, not actually wanting to talk. 2. He loses curiosity about your life. If he used to ask about your day, your weekend, your thoughts, those questions vanish. Why? Because his mind is no longer connected to the relationship. His attention is elsewhere. 3. He makes zero effort to reconnect. This is the key difference between a man who needs space to process his emotions and one who's truly losing interest. If he's just taking time, he'll eventually try to return. But if his distance becomes his new normal, if days pass without him reaching out, signaling, or showing intent to rebuild the connection, then it's time to accept the truth. A man who truly feels something for you, even if he needs space, will never let the bond disappear completely. How to react when he still has feelings but needs space. This is where many women make their costliest mistakes. Because even if you understand his distance doesn't mean disinterest. How you respond to his withdrawal can mean the difference between him returning with deeper connection or leaving forever. There are 4 mistakes that can make even an interested man disappear completely. I'll reveal them, along with how the male mind actually works. Now pay attention, because what comes next could completely transform how you handle these situations. The 4 most destructive mistakes that make a man leave forever. Mistake 1. Panicking and assuming the worst. When you notice him distancing himself, fear takes over. You start thinking he's losing interest, that there's someone else, that something's changed. That panic makes you react impulsively. You text more than usual, demand answers immediately, ask if something's wrong. But here's the problem. Men don't process emotional pressure the way women do. When they feel demanded for explanations they haven't even understood themselves, their natural reaction is to shut down further. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." If you act from fear instead of clarity, you can force a problem that was really just an internal process. Mistake 2. Chasing him with constant messages and calls. I know silence hurts. I know it's hard to sit still when someone you care about pulls away. But here's the secret. Absence awakens desire. Pursuit generates rejection. If a man takes distance and sees you living your life without clinging to him, that draws him back. But if you bombard him with texts, force a response, or demand his attention, you'll only activate his escape instinct. It's not because he doesn't care, but because instead of feeling, he's choosing to stay. He starts feeling pressured, and no one wants to be in a relationship out of obligation, only by their own choice. When he pulls away, your mind screams at you to do something. But here's the real secret, the most powerful response you can give. It's not an extreme reaction or an outpouring of emotion. It's not ignoring him, punishing him with silence, or trying to make him feel what you feel. It's about conveying one key truth. Your happiness doesn't depend on his closeness. To achieve this, there are 3 essential steps you must follow. Step 1. Give him space without questioning him. This is the hardest step because it goes against every instinct screaming at you. When a man distances himself, fear whispers, "If I let him go, I lose him." But reality is the opposite. Trying to hold him with pressure pushes him away faster. Imagine your connection is like an elastic band. Pull too hard, it snaps. But release it at the right moment. It returns with more momentum. Giving space doesn't mean disappearing or acting indifferent. It means not pressuring him for answers he doesn't have yet. If he needs distance, give it to him calmly, not from resignation, but from self-trust. Step 2. Redirect your energy to yourself. This is where many women fail. When a man pulls away, they obsess over his absence instead of focusing on themselves. But here's the truth almost no one tells you. Attraction isn't sustained with words, but with energy. If he perceives your life moves forward, with or without him, his mind starts working in your favor. And there's something even more powerful. When a man feels your attention isn't guaranteed, his brain activates a biological attraction mechanism. Carl Jung explained it. What you resist persists. If he notices you're still focused on his absence, his distance grows. But if he feels he doesn't have absolute control over your attention, his instinct will naturally draw him closer. Why? Because men value what they feel they could lose. Step 3. Stay receptive, but not overly available. When he returns, because he will if the connection is real, don't make the mistake of acting like nothing happened. Don't punish or blame him, but don't be immediately available either, as if his distance meant nothing. Your response should be balanced. If he texts after days, reply, but not with the same urgency as before. If he calls, answer calmly, but don't rush to resume emotional intimacy like nothing happened. The key is for your attitude to convey a subtle but powerful message. I love being with you, but I don't need you to be happy. And here's the most important point. The strongest attraction isn't imposed, it's chosen. What if he remains distant? If you follow these 3 steps, you'll notice an incredible shift. His attitude starts transforming, his interest rekindles, and he begins approaching again. But what if, despite everything, he stays distant? This is where many women make their final, costliest mistake. Because there comes a point where, if a man shows no signs of returning or intention to rebuild the connection, you must do something radical. I'll reveal the only strategy that will either make him see you completely differently or give you the clarity to move forward without losing your dignity. But first, tell me in the comments, have you ever felt your reaction to his distance only pushed him further away? If so, comment the word, "I understood," to see how many women are transforming how they handle these situations today. Because what comes next is the most powerful part of all. How your response defines how he sees you forever. If you've made it this far, you understand something many never grasp. How you handle a man's distance defines how he perceives you forever. If you react with desperation, he'll see you as predictable, always available, and emotionally dependent. But if you face his withdrawal with emotional intelligence, he'll see you as a woman with what few possess: unshakable self-worth. And here comes the final secret. If, after giving him space, focusing on yourself, and showing your happiness doesn't revolve around him, he remains distant, only one path remains. Give him exactly what he thinks he wants. If he shows no intent to reconnect, no clear signals of wanting to be in your life, no real effort on his part, make the unthinkable happen. Withdraw first. And here's the key. Do it without anger, resentment, or ultimatums. Simply let go. Carl Jung wisely said, "What you deny subdues you. What you accept transforms you." If you cling to the illusion that he'll change someday, you'll be trapped in an endless waiting cycle. But if you accept the reality of his indifference and act accordingly, you'll become the woman he never imagined losing. Because there's something many men don't understand until it's too late. They believe they can pull away without consequences, that they can distance themselves, and you'll still be there when they decide to return. But when a man feels for the first time that he could truly lose you, his mind enters crisis mode. It's in that instant. His indifference turns into doubt. His confidence that you'll always be available becomes fear that you won't. And here's where something powerful happens. If he still feels something for you, he'll do the impossible to return. He might not do it immediately, but his mind enters an inevitable process, forcing him to see the relationship from a new perspective. Because here's the great paradox. When you stop waiting for him is when he starts fearing losing you for real. Now tell me, have you ever felt that letting someone go was what truly gave you back your power? If so, write the word "I freed myself" in the comments, so I can see how many women are discovering their true worth today. Because what you've just learned isn't just about him, it's about you. And once you understand this, you'll never be the same again. Something incredible happens when you decide to let go. At first, it's scary. You feel like you're giving up potential, like by not fighting, you're accepting defeat. But then everything changes. The weight on your chest lifts. Your mind stops spinning in circles, searching for answers he never gave you. Because here's the truth. No one tells you. Letting go isn't losing. Letting go is choosing yourself when someone else doesn't. The most powerful message you can send the universe is, I don't need to cling to what doesn't flow. I don't need to convince anyone of my worth. I don't need to insist on a place where my presence should be appreciated effortlessly. When you make this decision, something shifts, not just with him, but in everything. How you see yourself in the mirror, how people perceive you, the energy you radiate when entering a room, because you no longer carry the anxiety of waiting for something from someone else. And that's where the true miracle occurs. Life starts moving in your favor. New opportunities arrive. People capable of holding a real connection appear. If he returns, it won't be because you chased, begged, or tried to prove something. It'll be because he felt your absence in a way that forced him to see your value. If he doesn't, it's not a loss, just confirmation that his role in your life was never meant to be permanent. And that's okay, because in the space he left empty, there's room for something far greater. A change that first hurts. At first, your mind searches for excuses to cling, to keep waiting, to find a sign, a message, an explanation that may never come. But one day, without warning, you wake up and realize something. The weight on your chest has lightened. The noise in your mind has become a distant echo, and in its place, there's something different. An emptiness, but not a void of loss, a void of possibilities. Because when you stop spending energy trying to understand someone pulling away, you suddenly realize an entire world is waiting for you. Little by little, without forcing it, you begin to change. Your gaze softens. Your laughter sounds more genuine. The small things, once unnoticed amid anxiety, start making sense again. And the most surprising thing of all, when you finally choose yourself, life responds. Here's the paradox. What you desperately chase runs away. What you accept with peace finds its way back to you. He may return, he may not. But when you reach this point, it no longer matters so much, because the real gift was never his presence. The real gift was discovering that with or without him, you are still enough. And that, my friend, is what makes you truly free. One day, without warning, without fanfare, everything aligns. Not overnight, not through some theatrical twist, not in a burst of revelation. Deeper, truer. You realize the waiting has ceased, not from indifference, not from forgetting, but because you no longer hinge your peace on any outcome outside yourself. The exhausting questions fade. What will he do? What does he feel? Where did he go? A new question takes center stage, the only one that ever mattered. What do I choose for myself? It's revolutionary, isn't it? For so long, his distance held your heart hostage. His silence dictated your worth. His presence, or absence, was the axis your world spun around. Until now. Until this unshakable shift, where the story no longer orbits him. It orbits you. And here, dear soul, is where Jung's greatest truth ignites. When you stop chasing shadows, you reclaim your light. When you honor your inner universe, outer magic unfolds. This isn't just closure. It's a spiritual awakening. Your path to wholeness has begun. Want to deepen this transformation? Discover how Jung's archetypes hold the keys to your next breakthrough. Your journey continues in our next video, where we'll unlock the unconscious patterns shaping your relationships. Do this now. Drop the word wholeness below if you're ready to turn insight into power. If this resonated but you haven't subscribed, join us. Thousands find these videos but miss future shifts because they aren't subscribed. Tap that button now. Why risk losing the very guidance that could anchor your freedom? Stay connected. Your evolved self awaits.